Are you ready to lose your hard-earned money? Because if you are thinking of buying the recent public offerings by Nigerian biggest banks, then you might be making the biggest mistake of all time. Now, lately, there have been a buzz around the biggest Nigerian banks trying to sell their shares at cheaper prices. We've seen banks like Zenith Bank, Fidelity Bank, GTCO, which was known as Gtbank, and so many other banks like that. Based on the latest offerings, the prices are quite cheaper than what is sold in the public market, and this makes it really tempting for you to go ahead to buy. But is it the right thing to buy these shares right now just because they are actually cheaper? Well, you're going to find out in this video, because if you make a wrong decision, you might end up regretting it in the future. And this is why it is important to watch this video to the very end to find out my takes about what I think about the latest public offerings by the Nigerian banks. But before I start with this video, make sure to like this video right now and subscribe to this channel. Why is the Nigerian banks trying to raise money right now? According to this article by Reuters, it says commercial bank with international authorization must have at least 500 billion naira, which is equivalent to $345 million in capital under the new rule. So it seems like the CBN made a new rule that the capitalization of each bank should increase to as high as 500 billion naira. And you know that if you are unable to meet up to that, then you will either merge your bank with another bank, or you actually sell it to another bank that is willing to buy it. And this is why all of these banks are all out right now to actually sell their shares and raise some funds from selling these shares so that they should be able to fix all of these things easily. This is a very good idea for the banks, but the problem is, you as an investor, are you really making profit from this thing? Because one goal for every investor is, when you're putting money into somewhere, you expect to make money in returns. So you should start asking yourself the question, is this thing really profitable, putting my money into these things? And this is what I'm going to talk about in this video. So let's start with the problem with previous offerings. In 2005, we had a similar offering where the banks were actually offering people to buy their shares at cheaper prices. For example, Union Bank of Nigeria had an offering in 2005 at 10 naira per shares, but as at today, the stock is actually worth within 6.95 naira, which is a 30% loss from the point you bought way back in 2005. Now imagine holding an asset for almost 20 years and you're still on loss, not putting into consideration that inflation has actually affected your money so much. Now, if you had 100,000 naira back in 2005, right now, based on 13% inflation rate Nigeria has every year, your money is worth less than 10,000 naira in terms of purchasing value. Now, you still have your 100,000 naira, but what you can use that 100,000 naira to buy now, back in 2005, you'd have used it to buy something 10 times more than what you can use it to buy right now. And aside from the inflation, there's still a 30% decline, which means you're left with 7,000 naira right now if you invested 100,000 naira in 2005. So what I'm saying in essence is, even if you still have your 100,000 naira at the point of making this video, the value of what you can actually get is lesser, and you've actually still lost more from the price of these shares. Now, Union Bank is not the only one affected. First Bank, as an example, in 2007 actually had a public offering and they sold their shares around 40 naira per shares. But today, those shares are worth 15 naira. By the time you factor in inflation and a 60% drop from 2007, you will see that you're actually on the losing side. So does it really make sense to invest in these stocks? Well, I think you should have your answer already. So the next question you might be asking me right now is, should you go ahead to invest in these shares? Well, I'm not going to give you a yes or no answer, but let me give you some reasons why you might not make a lot of money from these shares. The first reason is the Nigerian economy is still struggling with high inflation. This year alone, $1 to 1 naira started within 700 naira to 800 naira. It has actually skyrocketed to 1,600 naira in 8 months already. So that is a huge decline for a country's currency, and this is going to also impact in these shares. The next thing is currency devaluation, which I've actually stated alongside with inflation. And the third reason is unpredictable government policies. And now, if you notice recently, most big corporations or companies have been leaving Nigeria, and this is as a result of unfavorable business environment. So if these companies are leaving Nigeria, what makes you think that some of these policies are not going to affect these banks you're trying to invest in right now? So when you factor in all of these economic policies, it might not be that the banks are not performing well, but these economic policies are actually hampering the growth of these banks and their shares. And another thing I would say is, for everyone investing in these public offerings right now, you're not going to get your shares right away. You might actually get it in next 1 month or the next 2 months or thereabout. And before you get it, the value of these shares might have gone down. So make sure to think very well before investing in any of them. And the final question I would like to answer in this video is, what is the next thing to invest your money into? Well, before you start investing your money, I would like you to take a deep dive to understand what you're investing in first of all, because it is important to understand the concept of a particular thing you're investing your money into, so that you know when is the right time to invest in this thing and when is the right time to pull out your money in this particular thing, so that you don't end up losing your money because you don't actually have an idea about the investment you made. So make sure to understand what you're investing in before you start it. But here are a few things you can actually invest your money into. The first thing I will say is cryptocurrencies. If you're a beginner, I will tell you to focus on cryptocurrencies that are well known and established, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and BNB, and few other cryptocurrencies like that. And when you've gotten full knowledge about cryptocurrency, you can start diversifying your portfolio into other coins aside these ones I've mentioned. The next thing you can also invest in is the S&P 500. Now, why I like this is you're actually investing this in dollars, so you're safe from naira inflation or devaluation. And also, S&P 500 is notable for giving about 8 to 12% returns annually. So it means that even if you invest your money this year, you're very sure of 8 to 12% return in the next year. And that is better off for you than putting your money into where you don't know if you are going to make profit from it. And the next thing you can also look out for is high dividend stocks, but this requires that you understand what you're investing in. Stocks like Apple, Nvidia, and all of those things are quite known, so you might want to check very well, understand the concept before investing into them. And the final thing you can also invest in is real estate, but this also requires that you make your proper research before investing into them. So I really hope this has given you enough information to know if you're going to invest in Nigerian stocks or not. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like this video right now and subscribe to this channel to find out more awesome videos like this. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.